The Netherlands is a nation of great pride and beauty. From the hallowed halls of The Hague to the Dom Tower, splendid canals, ancient windmills, and, of course, Van Gogh, there's everything to love about the Netherlands. What makes the low-lying nation of 18 million people so great? And what are the future prospects of the Dutch giants? Let's find out. The Netherlands is located in northwestern Europe, and it means low-lying country. The country is indeed low-lying and remarkably flat, with large expanses of lakes, rivers, and canals. The Netherlands is bordered to the north and west by the North Sea, to the east by Germany, and to the south by Belgium. The most inhabited area of the Netherlands would be submerged mostly by the sea, but also to some extent by the rivers if its dunes and dikes were to disappear. More than half of the Netherlands' land area is taken up by this highly urbanized region, which is often only 1 meter, or 3 feet, above sea level. More than 1/4 of this country's 16,000 square miles lies below sea level. The Netherlands has 2,500 square miles, or 6,500 square kilometers of reclaimed land as a result of rigorous water management that dates back to the Middle Ages. In the interior, lakes and marshes were drained, particularly near the numerous rivers, and land was reclaimed from the sea around the beaches. All of this new land was converted to polders, which are typically enclosed by dikes. Windmills eventually took the role of the initial methods of draining the land, which involved both manpower and horsepower. The Netherlands has a moderate climate with mild winters, pleasant summers, and annual precipitation. The predominant winds are westerly and southerly, while the Gulf Stream and offshore winds from the sea help to temper the climate. The Kingdom of Netherlands includes its former holdings in the Lesser Antilles, Bonaire, St. Eustatius, Saba, Aruba, Curaçao, and Sint Maarten. It is a parliamentary democracy ruled by a constitutional monarch. The Hague is the seat of government, and Amsterdam serves as the capital. But following the resignation of Prime Minister Mark Rutte and the dissolution of the Dutch coalition government, there is currently a brief period of political instability in the Netherlands. Given that a cabinet term in the Netherlands lasts for 4 years, and the most recent election was held on March 17, 2021, this means that new elections will be held in the country a year earlier. According to Dutch electoral law, elections must be held 3 months after the formal dissolution of Parliament. Election officials must also ensure that there is sufficient time for parties to register and identify potential MP candidates, for Dutch nationals living abroad to register to vote, and for local governments to organise everything. And the summer break can make things more difficult. According to the chairman of the Electoral Council, elections can take place at the earliest in mid-November, given the recent provincial elections and everything else that needs to be done. The Kingdom of the Netherlands, a legal successor to the medieval statelets that gave rise to the Dutch Republic, has welcomed many immigrants over the years. The idea of freedom of thought provided a powerful push for the relative tolerance that emerged in the 16th and 17th centuries. The rich economic and industrial hubs in the western provinces, which drew numerous members of persecuted religions or political minorities, were and still are where these attitudes were and are most pronounced. Reserve currency status. In the Netherlands, commercial banking is controlled by a small number of sizable businesses, and for many years there has been a trend toward bank and insurance company mergers. The banking industry is regulated by the publicly owned Netherlands Central Bank. Amsterdam Stock Exchange is the oldest in the world. It was established in the early 1600s. The Netherlands served as the world's reserve currency from the 1640s through to the early 18th century. Today, trade is primarily done with North America and Europe. 3/4 of Dutch exports and half of its imports are received by EU members, who also serve as the nation's main economic partners. Rotterdam. The Netherlands plays a key role in the flow of products between Western Europe and the rest of the world. Therefore, transportation is particularly significant there. The flow of trade through Dutch ports is continued by riverboats, trains, trucks, and pipelines. More than half of all goods loaded and unloaded in the Netherlands are transported via the sea, and the entire southern part of the Northern Sea can be compared to a massive traffic square that is ground zero for the Thames, Rhine, Maas, and Scheldt rivers, and has connections to the continent's hinterlands, making it one of the busiest commercial thoroughfares in the world. Rotterdam is the best equipped in the nation and the largest harbour on the continent. The largest ocean-going ships can easily reach Europort, which is the area between Rotterdam and the North Sea. It serves as an approach via the new waterway canal to Rotterdam Harbour. For around 40 years, Rotterdam handled more tonnage than any other harbour in the world, until it was surpassed by busier Asian ports in the early 21st century. With capabilities to accept the largest supertankers, Rotterdam is one of the world's major centres for petroleum processing as well. There are probably more rivercrafts here than in any other nation. As at 1958, the year the common market was founded, approximately 40% of all Dutch exports were to West Germany, now Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, and Italy. The principal trading partners since the start of the 21st century are China, Germany, Belgium, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and the United States. But recently, hostilities between the EU and China have caused the Netherlands to tighten restrictions of trade to China, ASML computer chips not being sold to China. New export restrictions that were released by the Netherlands will limit the shipment of chip-making equipment from ASML Holding NV to China. As a result of the new regulation, ASML will have to submit applications for shipping some sophisticated deep ultraviolet lithography, or DUV, systems. The government announced in an email that the restrictions, which were published in the Dutch Official Gazette on Friday, will take effect on September 1st. The Netherlands has been on a successful run into the 21st century. The service sector employed roughly 7/10 of the labour force and contributed almost 2/3 of the nation's $1 trillion GDP, with tourism playing a significant role. Germans, Britons, Americans, and Belgians are the nationalities that visit the great nation the most. The Netherlands has a vibrant and diverse cultural life. Dutch painters are among the best artists the world has ever seen. If you've ever seen a Rembrandt or a Van Gogh, you would agree. The Dutch crafts are famous across the world. The government heavily supports the arts while ensuring direct artistic direction of cultural companies. The Dutch take considerable pleasure in their cultural history. The centuries-old history of Dutch freedom of expression has surely contributed significantly to the development of Dutch culture. But recently, there have been great public protests, and the nation is enraged. Farmers' protests and the Tristate. Word has it that the Dutch government does not want to close around 1/3 of its farms due to disregard of the farmers. Rather, it concerns the development of Tristate City, a megalopolis with a population of about 45 million that also includes parts of Germany and Belgium. Expropriations are also planned in order to carry out this project, which is planned in accordance with Agenda 2030's objectives he stated. And in fact, under the direction of Peter Salvberg of Salvberg & Partners, a group of institutional investors in the Netherlands have teamed up to aggregate the Netherlands along with portions of Belgium and Germany as a unified city network referred to as Tristate City. According to the idea, the region's population of up to 45 million people generates a, quote, sustainable urban powerhouse. The project is supported by the Dutch employers organisation VNO-NCW. But farmers would lose their land and resources it would take for them to be productive. Dutch farmers upended Prime Minister Mark Rutte's environmental ambitions by influencing elections that will determine the composition of the upper house of parliament. A wave of recent protests helped the Farmer Citizen Movement, or BBB, a 4-year-old party, win the most seats in the Dutch Senate. The Farmers' Party committed to oppose the Rutte administration's proposals to reduce nitrogen emissions by lowering the number of animals and possibly dismantling certain farms right away. Dutch inventions. That's the spirit of the Dutch that has led to many great inventions you never knew were from the Netherlands. For example, their national colour is orange. Did you know that carrots were primarily purple, white or yellow before the 17th century? Due to a genetic mutation, the orange carrots we are familiar with today initially appeared in the Netherlands. The House of Orange, the Dutch royal family, thought orange carrots were wonderful and decided to grow them in the Netherlands. Modern technology's Bluetooth has Dutch roots. Dr. Jaap Hartsen, a Dutch engineer, first proposed the concept of wireless connection between gadgets in the 1990s. Whenever you use Wi-Fi, you're using a Dutch invention that embodies 21st century innovation. It was founded by network scientists Victor Hayes and Cees Links. Even the microscope. The microscope was created in the 1590s by the father and son Dutch partnership of Hans and Zacharias Jensen, who made spectacles in the city of Middelburg. They even established the world's first stock market. In order to finance the lengthy trade-based journeys made by the East India Company from the Netherlands, politicians and business people in the Netherlands created the first stock market in 1602. Everyone was invited to invest in the journeys, regardless of socio-economic background. In the end, this widespread accessibility aided in the expansion of the Dutch economy in the 1600s. And of course, they were the first to build an artificial island. Did you know the Dutch are on average the tallest people in the world? It's a fact. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the notification bell and make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Stay tuned.